Hi, welcome to Peiwen's Noon. Today, I'm very happy to introduce you the young and talented piano duo, Anderson and Roe. Hi, Greg and Elizabeth.
Hi.
Welcome to Taiwan.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
How many times have you been in Taiwan?
This is our second visit to Taiwan, but our first to Taipei. We performed in Kaohsiung in 2012. And
2012.
yeah, and
okay.
had such a fabulous time. So we're back here. And
But you must perform in Taipei.
Yes,
We're very excited.
Tell us about your program in Taipei next week.
The program is filled
May
with
21st, right?
Yes, the program's filled with a huge amount of variety because Liz and I, in all our programs, like to reflect the variety of life, from the ups to the downs, the joys to the sorrows, the profound to the comic and humorous. So we're going to try and capture as much as we can. It'll be like a crazy roller coaster ride.
Yes, and we also cover a wide variety of different musical styles.
Such as who are you?
We have a big masterwork by Johannes Brahms, his variations on a theme by Joseph Haydn, and that's a staple in the duo piano repertoire. But then the majority of our concert is based on our own arrangements. We have arrangements of classical works by Mozart and Rachmaninoff and others, but also some works.
Will you play Piazzolla tomorrow?
Well, you'll have to come.
No, it's not programmed.
Oh, you can. Oh, okay. And so you met at Juilliard School?
We did.
Yes.
We met during our very first week of school at Juilliard in New York.
Before it even began, during orientation, in fact. We lived on the same floor in the dorms.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So we quickly became friends, and pianists at Juilliard share many of the same courses.
Do they put pianists on the same floor? Because back then we
No,
didn't
not
have a
necessarily.
dormitory
It was
then.
just good luck.
Right.
Yeah.
What floor was that?
21.
21st
floor.
Oh, what a nice view.
It was great. And it's just, in retrospect, it's always like, it's so poignant to see like how certain things fall into place. And at the time we're just like, oh, like, nice to meet you. We became, had a lot of fun discussing music. But very early on we discovered that we shared the same vision for classical music, and that has turned into our mission, which is to make classical music a powerful and relevant force in society. So that has really held our duo together.
Yeah, the friendship and our mission, the underlying factors that have been there since the very beginning, but have been so important to our duo that it has survived, and it's kept us together in such a strong fashion throughout the past 11 and a half years.
May I ask when you started to perform a piano duo together?
So our very first recital together was 2002, at the end of 2002
So it's been 11 and a half years now that we've played together.
What year were you at Juilliard? What year did you graduate?
We graduated in 2006 with our master's.
And in 2004 with our undergrad.
Yes.
So we were there from 2000 to 2006.
Yes.
So you've been to play together as a duo, and you've been a good friend.
Yeah.
That helps, right?
It's really interesting because neither of us really aspired to play duo piano music. We were there primarily pursuing solo, repertoire and opportunities, but there was something very unique and powerful about our connection. And over time, we started getting support from our teachers and people at Juilliard, and that led to concerts, and we just started to realize that this was something quite
almost
exceptional.
magical. Yeah.
Did you first perform classical piece and then to the fun one, or?
I mean, we've never thought of him specifically as like, this is entertaining and this is serious. I mean, we find that if we play a really serious piece in such a transporting way, our audience at the end still says, wow, it was so much fun, because they've gone on this incredible journey. But the first concert actually had the Brahms Haydn variations, the piece that we're going to play here in Taipei. I guess now we've been playing it 11 and a half years. I hadn't thought of that. We certainly haven't played it all of that time, but we've brought it back. So that was on there, but we had our own arrangements on that first concert, and certainly the first performance was filled with the token Anderson Roe surprises. I think we changed outfits between the pieces on the concert. And we also played Carnival of the Animals. We had our friends come up on stage and play with us, and we invited another friend to write narration, his own narration, and we changed the music in many different ways.
Not just the music, it's also
everything, the music, the narration, the performance, the presentation.
Yes.
It was a magical event. It was filled with so many surprises, and Liz and I were laughing so hard on stage because there was so much spontaneity.
Too, right?
Yeah, the audience is so great, and I remember the atmosphere was electric that night, and there was just something so rare and special about that event, and it kind of inspired us to keep doing this. And also, we just realized as soon as we started working together that we had all these ideas for pieces to play.
Endless ideas.
More ideas, and that's actually translated to making music videos, and that has also become a huge part of
the arrangements.
Career.
Our career, our online presence, our social media.
Who do the arrangements?
So we do.
You do.
Yes.
You both do the arrangements.
So when it comes to the arrangements, we think about the broad, important concepts from the beginning. What makes the piece tick? What is it that we want to bring to the foreground? If it's Piazzolla's Libertango, for example, we talked about.
That one.
We talked about in the beginning how we wanted it to bring across some of the romantic energy of the dance, the dangerous, emotional and physical aspects of the dance, the chemistry between the dancers, and certainly the choreography of the dancers, and we wanted to translate that to four hands at one piano. So that's what we talk about first. And then I traditionally will do the writing in my head, either while running or showering. And then I'll go and I'll write it down either by hand or put it into the computer and take it to her. And then we work out.
And you try it on the piano.
At the piano.
Yeah, we work things out at that point.
That's interesting. You didn't actually sit on the piano to rearrange it.
I can't. That's not, I write in my head, not with my fingers.
That's amazing. I like a lot of your videos. It's
you like our videos? Thank you.
It's like a fire, and I can describe it. Let's talk about the Rite of Spring, the 10 videos. Those are amazing. Did you really actually burn down your organ?
We burned?
150 years old?
Yes, it was a very, very old organ. It was beautiful.
You're crazy.
We figured that this organ, which was beautiful and created a very spooky, eerie sound when we played it, it was going to live on and it would have a bigger impact. Yeah, it would be immortalized in the video by us using it as our sacrifice. It's the Rite of Spring, after all, and then you sacrifice a virgin at the end. In our version, we sacrifice our material selves, the music, the instruments, our clothes, everything is sacrificed. It's a baptism by fire and water. And so we had to sacrifice the organ. It was very important to the narrative. And
who lighted the fire?
And we figured it would really live on forever if we burned it.
I think the initial inspiration was the centennial year of the Rite of Spring, which was it was premiered in 1913 in Paris to riots and created a huge stir in Parisian culture, but also just in artistic culture in general. And what's so remarkable about that piece is 100 years later, it feels just as innovative and shocking and energizing as it was a century ago. And so we wanted to pay tribute to that and find ways to make the story and the music resonate with a contemporary audience. And so instead of taking this kind of primitive, mythic story, we decided, okay, what does sacrifice mean in the 21st century? And so we had this idea that, we want to shed the kind of excess materialism and or kind of false identifications as seen through objects. And there's something about, as musicians, we're constantly thinking about our purpose and what's really significant and meaningful. And there's something powerful about taking the piano or an instrument, which means so much to us, but saying, you know, actually the spirit of creativity lives on sort of beyond,
it's beyond
the object.
To us it felt necessary. It felt as if the music just demanded it of us. And so while yes, it is a tragedy that that organ no longer exists, as Liz was just describing, it was the inevitable outcome of the music, of the drama, and certainly of this narrative, and we had no choice. We had to destroy it by the end.
Also, I understood. Did you film in the ocean without any clothes on? Tell me, what month was it of the year?
It was last April. We filmed. So the climax, for those who haven't seen the video, the climax of the film is the Sacrificial Dance, and traditionally it's a young virgin who sacrifices herself to the god of spring, and as Liz just described, we were talking about sacrifice in the 21st century, and so the climactic scene features us both drowning an organ while simultaneously burning it in the desert, and we're performing on this burning organ and the drowning organ. And the problem with putting an organ in the ocean is that waves are very challenging. So the waves would thrust the organ all around, and so we were trying to play, and it was bouncing into us, and at one point it knocked us over. And at one point the whole thing just came up and ripped off my large toenail. Just like that, it was gone.
To the emergency room.
So yes, Liz and I went to the emergency room. You were very supportive and took such good care of me.
But it was crazy. I mean, it was one of those experiences where, as we were filming, I couldn't believe that we were actually doing that. Because we
at first it was all imaginations first.
Yeah. Well, it's hilarious because we conceived a lot of the ideas for the Rite of Spring video while we were on tour in Asia, which included Taiwan. While we were on flights, there's something about when you're up in the air, you're like slightly delirious and kind of free to just explore your imagination.
You're floating through the clouds. It's like the perfect imagination zone.
Let's just burn and drown the piano. So anyway, so it sounded really cool and dynamic as an idea, but to execute it was terrifying. But it also, as Greg was saying, we kind of didn't have a choice because the music pushed us to that place, and in order to serve the spirit of the music, we wanted to do something that would push the kind of limits of our mental and physical and emotional selves.
Yes.
And so that's why Greg sacrificed his toenail.
We sacrificed the organ. We sacrificed our clothes, our music, everything,
and filmed it in the spring. So
and filmed it in the spring, yes.
Every YouTube, every video is amazing.
Thank you.
And how did you come up? Okay, in the Piazzolla Libertango, who came up with the idea? How have you held on to the piano string to change the color of the tone?
It was one of those things that, like, it didn't feel like an idea. It just felt like, well, that's what we need to do. We want to sound like a guitar, or we want to sound, we want to separate the sound of the melody from the accompaniment, and it didn't feel like this like revelatory idea.
It's both of your
it just
ideas.
Like had to happen.
And also, I mean, kind of in retrospect, we realized too that there's this idea of the tango that touches upon the forbidden. The tango is a very seductive dance.
That's right.
And we wanted to.
Well, in fact, it was so forbidden that 100 years ago the Pope had banned it from dance floors because the Pope is too sexy. It's
just to dance.
It is too sexy to dance. So he said no more dancing the tango, and he recommended instead people dance the forlan instead, which clearly didn't last for very long. The Pope, I believe, my history is correct, has since reinstated the dance. So we're not getting into too much trouble, but still, it is forbidden. It's
there's something about us exploring.
Oh, in certain countries are forbidden?
No. There's something forbidden about it.
Something forbidden about us going inside the piano. We're not just staying proper on the keys.
The dance isn't proper. The action isn't proper. We're just pushing buttons.
Yes.
Pushing the envelope.
But every time I see you on the videos, it's like it looks like you two are both dancing when you perform the piano.
you.
It's
Well,
very,
good.
very exciting.
We work to make sure our arrangements illustrate or bring the dance to visual life.
May I ask, who's your favorite composer?
That's a hard
May I?
question.
I know.
And so every day it changes. Every moment of my life, I feel differently about the answer.
We both have very eclectic musical tastes, and that's actually been one of the unifying things about our duo is that our appreciation and passion for different styles of music allows us to explore so many different sounds and different approaches. And yeah, I mean, I think both of us really love Mozart. We just did an all Mozart recording, and there's something so pure and joyous about Mozart's music that
So he sounds
It just makes
very
you happy to be
right?
alive.
Because he was just a little child.
Right.
Most of the time when he composed.
there's so much wonder to it. And I think
Yeah,
that's
joy, exploration.
Yeah, but I mean, I personally, and I think you do too, feel an affinity for the romantic composers. I have a kind of like romantic with a capital R, kind of like I don't know, like inclination, like
A
you know,
soul, a romantic soul.
and so I love the expressivity and the generosity of spirit that you find in works of Schumann and Brahms and Chopin. You know, there's so much richness in their pieces, and it's so fun to perform.
We just recorded an all Bach album as well, which will come out in the fall or the winter, I believe.
Really?
And
what did you play in Bach?
the Bach album, well, Bach is another one of our favorite composers. It's just so satisfying to perform, and we wanted the Bach album to represent the variety of his output because it's traditionally difficult. You know, if you're a violinist, you would play the sonatas and partitas, and that's Bach's secular music, but his sacred music traditionally isn't composed for just instruments without voice. Voice or organ usually are a part of the sacred music, and so we did a lot of arrangements. We have in order to hit that balance between the sacred and his secular styles. So we have
St. Matthew Passion.
St. Matthew Passion, a suite we did 5 movements from the St. Matthew Passion. There's a couple cantatas featured in there, 3 different ones. Additionally, we have his concerto for 2 harpsichords in C major. Much of the Art of Fugue is on there, which a couple movements he actually rewrote specifically for 2 harpsichords. He added an extra voice and made it almost a concert piece for 2 harpsichords. The variations on the Goldberg ground, not the Goldberg variations, or they're not variations. Excuse me, the canons on the Goldberg ground. There's so you get some of these musical, intellectual exercises of his, some of the like symphonic concerto-like music, and then the deeply introspective and personal and pleading secular or sacred music. It's all in there.
And there's kind of a mix of well-known, beloved masterworks, and also like these canons are a bit obscure.
Yeah.
So I think it will appeal to both the Bach aficionado, but also to someone who might be new to his music. And that's always our intention with our programming for concerts and for our recordings, is that, and actually for videos, is that hopefully it can appeal to a wide range of listeners and music lovers, so that if you're a sophisticated listener, hopefully you'll find something intriguing or substantial within what we present, but also hopefully a person like a young child who's coming to a concert for the first time, we also want to give them a memorable experience and hopefully inspire them to continue exploring the wonders of classical music.
Yeah, we play every concert as if there's someone in the audience who's never heard classical music before, because we know how valuable those first impressions are. And we want them to just fall in love with it instantly. It's very important to us.
That's great. And I'm really looking forward to your concert in Taipei next week, and hope you come back in the near future in Taiwan. Thank you so much, Anderson.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.